New stories from episode Heresy reveal the current state of the gargantuan Leviathan worm slumbering beneath the oceans of Titan. Ahsa was introduced in Season of the Deep, used partially by Eris in Witch, and has been lying dormant since. Now in Heresy, she dreams about the worms in their original form, and is alerted of an evil presence contacting her from across space. Welcome Guardians, let's dive right in. So Ahsa is a proto-worm, the same thing the worm gods were before the Witness and Ralk turned them into the Hive with the sword logic and darkness. They're essentially the same species, but the worm gods have been heavily altered. Lore from Season of the Deep said, some kind of proto-worm. Like Hive, Shiahan deployed her blades. No, the Hive were something before they were the Hive, right? The worm gods were too. Ahsa is her name, I think. The ghost turned to Sloane, then to Ahsa. What does she want? To be alone, Sloane responded. To be known? We've discussed the worm gods in other videos and the ones that are still alive. Ahsa existed around Fundament when the Hive were changed forever, when the conversion of the worms through darkness went down. She then made her way to Titan, Saturn's moon, and has been there ever since. She was sort of friendly with Golden Age scientists, at least alerting them that she was there. And of course, her closest bond now is with that of Commander Sloane. Ahsa has been in a hibernation of sorts after the events of Season of the Deep, using her connection through darkness to relay information about the Witness and how to enter the Traveler. But here in episode Heresy, we get some new updates. In the new sparrow called Endling Seek, Ahsa reflects on her relationship with other worms like Akka and the worm gods that still remain, sending her a message. What do you call someone who is blood of your blood, heriter of a similar ancient lineage, yet deeply changed, whom you have never known dearly, in fact, barely at all, but whose echoes you see in the still pond, the polished glass? Ahsa settles for cousin. Yol, Zol, Akka, dead Akka, whose everted bones circle Saturn in twin orbit with Titan, where Ahsa dreams. Of all the cousin names, it is the one that catches Ahsa, rolls along her flukes and shivers, rippling in the methane dream. There is some mirror where Ahsa is the ship and Akka the refugee, an accident of parentage, one sibling this river, the other that stream. And so how does Ahsa hate what she nearly was? Cousin bones, family bones, swimming as she does. In her marrow she knows this, she is lucky. Dead Akka hums, and Ahsa feels it stem to stern. She stirs from her dream to roll as she listens, a long stretch of blade's edge, crystal, parchment, and the breath of the galaxy along her flank. Ahsa hums back, of course. She can't help herself, even knowing better. Your cousin calls out, "I am here. Is anyone there?" And you answer. You answer. Dead Akka does not answer. It is a ghost firing of bone neurons. Zol does not answer. Zeta and Cell and Aura and Lace do not answer. Some glutted, war-fed cousin long across the sea of screams calls out, a distant worm song threat. Ahsa goes quiet, remembers all at once, presses her consciousness close to her Titan, settles back into a softer, subtler dream. In that dream, Ahsa is not the last. So we have a couple of interesting things going on here. Ahsa we know is in her slumber, and this speaks about her having a dream. So I'm not sure if this is her actually having a dream and making things up, or if she's perceiving this, hearing some voices while she is in that slumber. She refers to the main worm gods as her cousin. They share the same blood, yet they are deeply changed. In fact, at this point, they're barely the same anymore. And Ahsa just got out of it. She could have been Akka, the worm that was slain to create Oryx's ship. But yet here she lies, still slumbering in Titan's oceans. Through this dream, she hums and relays a message, calling out, "I am here, is anyone out there?" And something does call back, a war-fed cousin long across a sea of screams. So this clearly has to be one of the remaining worm gods. Which one it is, I am not exactly sure. We still know that the keeper of order, is out there, the Everhunger, and even Yol, the honest worm. Do they exist around Fundament somewhere? Have they traveled elsewhere like Zol did, and are they connected to living hive members like Xivu Arath? Could be a possibility. The keeper of order, was last known to have demanded Oryx to get things in check when the Vex invaded his throne world. That was a while ago. Next you have Ur the Everhunger, who was pleased when it learned that Savathun was trying to use all this cunning and trickery to feed her worm. A lot has happened since then too. Since then, Savathun's gained the light, she died, came back, and we stopped the final shape. And that leaves us with Yol, the honest worm. Yol was the worm who spoke to the siblings when they ventured down into the deep. Yol tried to eat Zol, but Zol and Nokris then fled. Unless this is some random worm we aren't aware of, my best guess is that Ahsa heard from Yol across space, but I have no information to back that up, just a random thought. I am Yol, the honest worm. Behold my passage. Behold my vast displacement, my ponderous strength, my great and coiling length, my folded jaws and curled wings. Behold the hiving cities symbiotic with my flesh. I am fecund, Arash. I am at the beginning and end of lives. There was also that lore card from episode Echoes that mentioned a great, quiet knotworm. I don't really think this is related either, but when thinking about worms, I remembered this text. Bungie was clearly hinting at something here. This thing was found in the Vex network and disturbed, and it's just remaining there quiet still. The great quiet thing, the knotworm, kept its eyes closed and ignored the call. It was still too soon, he decided. It shivered, the motion forming cascading bubbles of new hypothetical simulations in which it did not shiver. These contradictions soured and burst, scattering nutrients into the network.
Eris, your ritual called on the hive worm gods, and there were some I didn't recognize.
Not all are hive. Cell, Aura, Lace. They were Ahsa's sisters, dead or lost. She whispered their names to me, and I invoked them alongside the worm gods, both slain and living.
I see. Ahsa is one of our greatest allies. I just hope she finds time to rest.
What's also interesting is that entry from the latest Grimoire anthology. The Winnower speaks to Ahsa in her slumber, speaks about warnings of Xivu Arath and deals to be made with Savathun. So far in Heresy we haven't seen Ahsa, so it makes me wonder if we will at all, or is this new lore card all we have? The lore does seem to be pretty important here, so here's the card again for those who haven't seen it.
Doff your cap and coat, you're safe here. You know you'll keep your promise to find the place where this all began. But for now, rest. No, I'm not death, though it is my tool. Nothing doesn't interest me, you understand? A flawed existence is preferential to none at all. Things are the way they have to be, instead of the way they'd like to be. Ahsa, you saw it all. The extinction, the extermination, the gamma ray bursts burning up your garden worlds, the singularities eating up infant suns. It hurt you so, and you turned to me asking why it had to be. I didn't answer. I never do. I'm a question. It's up to you to find the answer. Build the castle. So far, they all fall over. But maybe one day, one won't. How? I don't know. Figure it out. Do the work. Ask the question. What will remain in the end when the stars go out and creation freezes in the half-light of evaporating black holes? These killers you're after, they were very much like you, Ahsa. They wanted to know why there had to be life, why there had to be death. But then, not liking the answer they made for themselves. Well, you'll see. Go on, Ahsa. Someone's coming to see you, and I'm sure she's got a real humdinger of a proposal for you to hear. Her sister, though, it'll really wind her up if you die by any other hand but hers. She means to take you for her worm, and she pretty much runs this town, truth be told. Watch yourself out there. It's a war zone.
Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. A mini update on Ahsa and what's going on with her in episode Heresy. If you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.